you truly trust someone who smiles at you every single day? Someone who is a good father, a loyal husband, and a hardworking employee? But that same person in the darkness of the night turns into a monster? In Seattle, America, during the 1980s, such a monster was roaming the streets. He would pick up girls, strangle them, and dump them in the Green River. The police had no clues and no witnesses. For 20 years, he kept the entire country paralyzed with fear. Today, we are talking about Gary Ridgway, a serial killer who committed so many murders that he himself lost count. But how did he hide in plain sight for 20 years? And how did a piece of old chewing gum finally expose him? Stay with us until the very end, because the truth will leave you speechless. July 1982. Two boys were riding their bikes along the banks of the Green River. They thought they saw an old doll, but as they got closer, they let out a scream. It was the body of 16-year-old Wendy Lee Caulfield. But this was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, one after another, 5 bodies were pulled from that same river. The media gave him a name, the Green River Killer. Every time the pattern was the same. The victims were strangled using their own clothing. Now, here is where the story takes a twist. Gary Ridgway wasn't some strange-looking thug. He was a truck painter. At home, he loved his wife, Judy, very much. He went to church every week. He played baseball with his son, Matthew. But he had a dark side. As a child, his mother had treated him very poorly. He took that hatred and aimed it at every woman in the world. By day, he played the family man. But by night, he was a monster. Friends, do you know what the scariest part is? Sometimes, he would take his young son in the truck while he went hunting for victims. When girls saw a small child in the truck, they thought this man was safe. That monster used his own son as a decoy. Years passed by. 1982 turned into 1990. The body count reached 10, 20, 30, then 40. The police formed a Green River task force. They even went as far as asking another notorious serial killer, Ted Bundy, for help from his prison cell. Bundy told them that killer will return to the bodies just to watch them. The police kept watch. Gary Ridgway was even caught and questioned, but he passed a lie detector test. He was such a master of deception that even the machine couldn't catch his lies. But every reign of terror must come to an end. By 2001, science had changed. DNA technology had arrived. Detectives pulled out an old piece of evidence, a gauze pad that Gary had chewed on back in 1987. When the DNA test came back, it was a match. After 20 years, the face of the Green River Killer was revealed to the world. Gary Ridgway was arrested right in the middle of his workday. When he began to speak in court, it made people's blood boil, he said. I killed so many women, I can't even remember their names. I thought of them as trash. He confessed to 48 murders, but the real count is likely 70 or 80, or even more. Gary was sentenced to 48 consecutive life terms. He is rotting in prison to this day. But what does this story teach us? That monsters don't always come with horns. Sometimes they are your neighbors or a respectable father standing right next to you. Even today, the families of many victims are still waiting for justice for those who were never found. The ripples of the Green River still whisper a dark and painful history. If you found this investigative story gripping, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay vigilant, because the darkness is always where we refuse to look.